Hey guys, Jason Stallworth here and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to record with this cool little desktop amplifier you see sitting beside me, the Blackstar HT-5RH MK III amplifier. There are a couple of different ways you can use this amp for recording direct. I'm going to show you those. I'm also going to show you my preference and why I choose that way. And hang around to the end because I'm also going to show you how I use this amplifier with effects, both pedals and plugins, so you can get the best of both worlds. Hey, that's a cool song off the 5150 album. The first method of using the Blackstar HT-5 for direct recording is the most simple. You need far less equipment. Really all you need, of course, is your guitar, this amplifier here, a computer, and of course your studio software, your DAW, and a set of headphones. I'm going to show you the super easy method on how to connect that, and of course we'll record a track, but this eliminates the need for having an external audio interface and of course studio monitors. So if you're on a budget or if you're just in a really small space and you don't need the extra gear, well, this is a really great method to use. What you'll do is connect the US audio cable to the back of the Blackstar amplifier, and of course the other end of that, well, that's going to go directly into your USB input into your computer. The next step is open up your DAW and go to your audio settings. Now in this case, I'm using PreSonus Studio One, so I'm going to go over here to Preferences, and then I've got a tab for audio settings. From there, you'll select the appropriate device, which is our Blackstar amp in this case, to be your interface, and you can do that with both the input and output. You'll also want to plug your headphones into the back of your amplifier. So you'll see that you have a line out / headphone jack here. So just plug your headphones into that and you're ready to go. Another method of recording with your Blackstar HT-5 amplifier is to run it directly through your interface. I'm going to show you how to do that real quick, but I'm also going to explain why I choose this method. Now this is also a very simple method, so we'll start by, of course, plugging our amplifier into our interface. So where you have the headphone jack in the back of your amplifier, that's also a line out. So you can just plug your 1/4" cable into that and then run the other end of that cable into your audio interface. And of course, that's already connected to my DAW as my audio interface. And I've also got my studio monitors plugged into the back of that interface, which leads me to why I prefer this method better. For one, I use my audio interface for other elements as well. Other instruments, could be bass guitar, could be another amplifier, miking an amp. I also have microphones connected to this interface at all times as well. It's got some additional inputs in the back. I run a podcast out of it. So that interface is always connected. And of course, when I open up my DAW, that's the interface for my recording and playback audio setup, so I don't ever have to change anything. The other reason I like this method is because I have my studio monitors connected to my audio interface. So if you're like me and you do other things in your studio, you're not just recording one guitar, one amplifier, you want to have the ability to have everything else connected without always having to go to your audio setup and change out which interfaces for recording and playback, well, this method might serve you better. Now it's time to share what effects I'm using with this amplifier for all the tones that you've heard in this video, both pedals, and I'm also using an effect plugin in the studio. Before we do that, I want to give a tremendous shout out and thank you to the folks at Blackstar Amplification for sponsoring this video. This amplifier, the HT-5RH MK III, this is a killer little desktop amplifier. Everything is at your fingertips here. Some of you might get a little tired of using amp sims and you want that hardware sound and feel. Well, this is going to give it to you. Plus, it's compatible with pedals and effects, which we're about to go over. Now, with that, and you might be wondering, well, Jason, what impulse responses are you using with this amplifier? Well, Blackstar actually provides their own software called CabRig, and this gives you an array of combinations of different different speakers, mics, on axis, off axis. You can even EQ the mic individually and get just a ton of different tones. I actually have another video on how to use Cabrig software, so if you decide to purchase one of the modern Blackstar amplifiers, I'll put a link to that video in the description of this video, and I'll also provide my affiliate link to purchase the Blackstar HT-5 head here. Alright, so I'm using two pedals in front of the HT-5 amplifier. Since I am playing with a 7-string guitar, I want some more bite. I need that extra edge. So I've got an overdrive pedal in front of the amp, and of course I've got a noise gate placed in front of that. Those are the effects I'm using in front of the amp. Now the Blackstar HT-5 also has an effects loop, so I can easily use things like my additional reverb. This amp has reverb, but I've got like an ambient reverb pedal that I play through sometimes, and also have a delay, which I usually use always for my solos. So I could use those pedals in the effects loop here, but I decided to use a delay plugin in the studio instead, and I'll explain why in a second. But basically all I did was just use one of PreSonus's the Studio One delay here. I put that on the lead track. The reason why I did that this way as opposed to using a delay pedal, when you record with a time-based effect, well, once you record that with pedals or hardware, that's what you're stuck with. Using something like a delay, or if I wanted more reverb, using a plugin on the track, well, I can just adjust that at any time or even take it off if I don't like it. So you're not stuck. Just a little recording hack there that will save you time and frustration. Now, if you want to learn more about the HT-5RH head here, I'll put a video up there that goes over all of the features of this amplifier, and of course you'll hear some more tones. I've got another video on metal tones right there if you want to check that out. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave me any questions in the comments, and as always, keep it metal and keep playing music.